Hello everybody, time for a video that I imagine is going to be a bit controversial. Where I did the S10 test the other day, where I put on the Avon S10, shot my air rifle for a bit to see how the sights worked. I'm going to do the same thing today. Now unfortunately there's a few people around outside, so I don't really want to do this with the mask on and all that again, in case it spooks somebody. I'll definitely do, a video like that again, but I'll have to do it when there's nobody around. But I quite want to get this video filmed. So what I'm going to do is, it's not totally scientific. I'm just going to use my air rifle and aim down the corridor. It's quite a long corridor, so I can look at a target at the far end. And I can see if I can get a good sight picture. Because one of the complaints about the GSR was, in official MOD documents and official documents submitted to government, that the GSR did not let soldiers get a good sight picture. It was so bad, in fact, that weapons trials of the masks had to be abandoned, despite the fact the mask was picked anyway for service. So, what I'm going to do is use my air rifle. Now, this is unloaded before anybody panics. I am just going to literally, it's not even cocked for dry firing. What I'm just going to be doing is squeezing the trigger off or trying to look down the scope. I'll move the filter to one side after trying to do it initially with the filter on, but as you can see already, the filter is colliding with the stock. So yeah, I can cant the rifle like this, which is incredibly uncomfortable with this, it's knocking into the filter, but I can get an alright sight picture. And when I say alright, I mean awful, but let's do that. So right, let's rotate this filter to reverse position. Okay, so that's locked on now where there's a bit of a gap there on the mask, so let's try again. As you can see, the filter still collides with the rifle stock. That's actually worse now to get a cheek weld than before. Right, so what I'm going to do now is try and take the filter off. And maybe, now this is not how you're meant to operate it in British Army service, but when I was looking on forums where soldiers were talking about the mask, they said if they had to wear this thing in actual combat, they'd say screw it and take off the filter for their aiming side anyway, because it's just big and clunky and gets in the way. So now I'm operating the mask more like a traditional respirator, where I've only got the filter on my left cheek because I shoot right-handed. Now okay, I can get a much better sight picture now, but I still don't think that's as good as the S10 in all honesty. Now let me just try squeezing the trigger off. Yeah, so you can sort of get a sight picture. Now, weirdly, I get really horrible ghosting if I try and look down the scope with two eyes open, so I actually have to do that, where with some masks you don't. So, that's weird, because it is a panoramic lens. But yeah, you can get an uncomfortable sight picture by doing this. But it is uncomfortable, as said, because I am having to, really cant my head, which I didn't have to do anywhere near as much for the S10. So that isn't good. Now what I'm going to do is put the filter back on, and now we're going to test this with an iron sight and see what happens when I do the same test of iron sights. Okay, now I'm going to use the SLR, obviously the right arm of the free weld, and this was used by the British Army long before they used this mask, but the SLR's iron sight is quite similar to that of an M4 or an M16 or an AR-15. So I think this should be a good test to see would it work for the iron sights of many contemporary rifles still. So, again, I can't get a good sight picture with this filter because the filter hooks under the rifle. When you then try and cant your head enough to look down the rifle, the filter simply gets in the way. So now let's put it to the shooting position. This is even worse now. Yeah, what a piece of shit. Right, okay. Take this filter off. Like you're not meant to do when operating the mask. Okay, and I can just about get an iron sight picture there. But what I don't like is when I'm now doing an iron sight thing, this plastic bayonet thing that covers the 40mm screw hidden underneath. This is, right against the rifle. So if you were shooting that and it recoiled hard enough, I reckon that would shatter the plastic, compromise the mask, and you'd die. So this is a really good design mask, isn't it? But regardless, yeah, I can tilt the rifle horribly, look. That works. Ooh. both cant my head and cant the rifle, but I didn't have to do that with the S10. This is the ludicrous thing of this mask. Now, it was meant to be an improvement over the S10, and it just fails at everything it tries to do. Because, oh yeah, we can compete and make an Avon M50 clone, but no, we're not going to put quality into it. So there you go. When it's in standard operating mode, with the filters on properly, you cannot aim a rifle properly. When you've got it the wrong way round, I don't even know if we've got that filter on technically the right or wrong way. I think that's the right way. When you've got the filter the reverse way, like all the wrong way round, it's designed for shooting. It's even actually worse, I found. Soldiers were telling me that if you had that round in the shooting position, and you try and shoot an L85A2, it will keep knocking the fire selector, because it gets in the way of the fire selector. There's generally a reason why most masks only have the filter on the cheek of this, you know, the opposite side of what you shoot on, so it doesn't get in the way. That's, you know, a standard concept we've had for years, but it worked. So yeah, overall I still hold the opinion that this mask is just trash. Most of the people who defend it and call me an idiot for slagging off this mask, look, the reason I'm saying this is because equipment like this is people's lives are on the line if this fails. And I think it would. It's, you know, it's not suitable for military use in my opinion, much heavier and clunkier, less comfortable than an S10, so it's more equipment you have to carry, more weight, more fragile, so it's more likely to break and again endanger the lives of the people using it. And I think a lot of the reason people defend this is sort of the sunk cost fallacy, where, like me, they spent £70 to £100 probably on one of these, and then they're going, wow, I spent all this money on it, so it must be good. No, it's not. It's not a good mask. So there you go. That's the Scott GSR. Kind of, it managed to scope test just about when the filter was off, when it was in the first position, on at least on the air rifle. I could kind of get a picture. And then with iron sights, really, you can only do it with air off, and you can't your mask, and you can't the rifle. But yeah, I do not think this is suitable for use, because I had a far harder time getting a sight picture than I did with the S10. And of course, depending on what rifle you've got and what scope setup, it might be easier or harder to get sight pictures of it. But I know at least on the British Army thing, and I'll flash that up on screen, they had to abandon firing tests for the masks on because it just didn't work for a lot of the optics and sort of iron sights that the British Army use. So there you go. I think we can say the GSR is not very good at looking down sights.